Okay, mantra on the serpent power. Any questions from previous classes? Let's read a better one then. Huh? So we know that mantra is subtle sound vibrations. Right? And these subtle sound vibrations are the vibrations that, one of these got to work. These subtle sound vibrations are the vibrations that the soul used to bring the body into manifestation. And the spirit used to bring the soul into manifestation. So what's this uniqueness about mantra? Also, in the mystic circles, they say the power of mantra is guaranteed, right? So let's look at that. Shiva, what is Shiva? The absolute or God, right? Shiva, in all the Bibles around the world, they say that God spoke the word and the word was God and creation came about, right? Whether you looking at the Hindu Bible or the Buddhist Bible or the Jewish Bible or even the Christian Bible, you'll see that in there that God spoke the word. The Hindus describe this as Vak, which Vak is the initial sound or soundless sound, right? That God spoke the word, that word was Vak, and it was that initial sound that brought forth creation, okay? Forth, creation. Creation as we know it, right? So now, when we look at this and looking at mantra or the soul, we know that God spoke the word and a part of that divine source, which was spirit, also spoke the word and the soul was manifested. Okay? Now, most people say, well, the soul is everlasting. No, well, the soul is everlasting in the mind of the spirit, or not in the mind of the spirit, but in the being of the spirit. But the soul was a manifestation. It has a beginning and it has an end. And so the soul came forth from, which is Vak, from this Nata power, which is this creative sound vibration. Okay? So everybody get this? So, when the spirit used the same thing that God used to bring forth creation, the spirit, being a divine spark of God, which is the I am within each and every last one of us, uses Nata to bring forth a soul, which is like a body of the spirit. It's an express body of the spirit. Okay? Now, this is manifested, this is unmanifested. Spirit is unmanifested. The same way Shiva is unmanifested. See? God, or the Absolute, is unmanifested because it was always here. You know, the Absolute, or God, was always here. So therefore it's unmanifested. The Spirit was always here because the Spirit is a part of the Absolute, is a part of God. So therefore it was unmanifested as well. It was always here. It had no reason to be manifested. So the soul, the soul was manifested as a vehicle of manifestation within creation so that it can do the will of the Spirit. Okay? So the soul, coming into manifestation, totally aware of the Spirit, came into being with inherited powers and knowledge and understanding. So what does the soul do? The soul, right, understands and knows the point of origin of its power. So it brings forth that through the Bindu. Okay, what is the Bindu? A spiritual germ. What's another definition for it so that we can get a clarification of it? That's still out there. It's a compaction of Shakti power or all source power. What's the other name that brings it home? That we always say. Well, this is a point of consciousness. It's really above consciousness, but you're correct in saying a point of consciousness because that's where consciousness is going to come from. But what's another one? The all what? The all knowledge space. So the Bindu is like that point or window of all power and all knowledge. So the soul uses this to do what? To involve itself. And it does it through nata. Okay? And you'll see sada, which means supreme subtle sound. Okay? Which is creative sound. So what does it do? It uses this nata and the knowledge that it have of creation, understanding that creation has the Shakti power flowing through it, because first you have Shiva, which is the unmanifested, and then Shiva brings forth what? Shakti, right? This Shakti power that Shiva brings forth is the all pervasive, right, energy of the universe, or creation, you can say, of all creation. Okay? So it understands this because within the Shakti power, you have all the different types of energy. Every type of energy formation that you can think of is within the Shakti, within this great wave of Shakti power coming from the all source. Now, the scientists today kind of understand this because now they're talking about what? They're talking about this dark energy and dark matter, right? And And instead of saying nothingness or unmanifested, they talk about dark energy and dark matter, these black holes. And they say, well, it has tremendous power, and this tremendous power is coming from it, and all creation feeds off of this dark energy and dark matter. So, but the Hindus and the yogi mystics around the world, the theosophical mystics, have been saying this for thousands upon thousands of years. But how do they say it? They said that Shiva, or God, or the Absolute, whatever they want to call it, is this unmanifested source of endless potential, this endless power, this endless potential, and that we can constantly pull on it. The manifested part of it is called Shakti. And within Shakti, we have the 4 principles of Shakti that begin to line up and put in order this power, right? But the thing, I don't want to get off too much, but the thing is that the thing that helps moves all that Shakti power is this nata or mantra, okay? This subtle sound vibration that also rings from Shiva, and it's the molding power of Shakti. Okay? So that's why mantra is almost guaranteed. Not almost, it is guaranteed. So what do you have? You have Shiva, you have Shakti, and you have Nata. Right? And really this Nata can be called Nata Shakti, because you will not find Nata separated from Shakti. You will not find Nata separated from Shakti. So you will always find that this subtle sound vibration is doing what? What does this sound vibration do? It molds and shapes Shakti power. You'll also find that within Shakti power, there's, Shakti power is just not, we mostly think of just this energy. But Shakti is also what? It's a mind energy, right? It's also what? We talk about the 4 principles. It's a Nani energy, right? Which is the supreme knowledge that pervades all creation, creating the intelligent movement, right? It's what else? Somebody said it. It's a love energy that preserves everything, right? And is the prana, the vital life force of all things. Okay? So you have this nata energy or this great holy mantra that's being chanted by Shiva, God, that pervades the whole universe, that allows this Shakti power to mold and shape into the tens of thousands of galaxies and millions of solar systems, and no telling, trillions of planets. It allows this power to be shaped, this Shakti power to shape itself into all these things. And the governing thing that does the shaping is this sound vibration, this nata. This is universal. And behind and after the principles of mantra, after the principles of Shakti, you have the what? You have the Maha, what? Bhutas, right? And this is also molded and shaped by what? By what? What? By Nata. Because Nata is associated with what? Not only Shakti at this point, but what? Huh?
Cosmic mind.
Mind, right. Because what do we know? What is the properties of mind? The properties of mind is what?
Molds and shapes.
It molds and shapes prana. So Nata is produced by what? It's manifested by what? Huh? By mind, yeah. Because your thoughts is turned into what? If you have a thought, you have your mind, you use mind energy to form a thought, right? That thought is going to do what? It's going to turn into sound. See? It's going to turn into sound. And before it turns into sound, it turns into what? Nobody? Into soundless sound. Right? And then it moves from soundless sound to a physical sound. First, before it moves into a physical sound, it moves into a mental sound. And then from there, it moves into a physical sound. In fact, even before, in the mental sound has several different levels because it moves from a mental to an emotional and then a subtle, and then it goes into physical, okay? Or maybe mental to subtle to emotional, then physical. So it's this soundless sound that builds momentum before it comes out of the vocal larynx. Yeah, so you got a question?
Well, I had a question.
Yeah.
What's the difference between then Vok and the AUM?
The what?
Vok and the AUM.
What do you mean the difference?
Is it the same?
Well, yeah, Vok represents the AUM or part of the AUM being spoken by the Absolute. You know, that's why you distinguish it from lower beings speaking the the sound, the holy sound.
So, Vak is an aspect of AUM or AUM is an aspect of Vak?
Well, Vok describes the AUM. You understand? It's a description of the power of the AUM or a part of the AUM. Remember, we only have one half of the AUM is actually a part of it. There's another half there's another part of this creative power that's never spoken out, that's never given to the public or to the world. What else? Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so just to show you that this power of sound is real. It's real. Everything that exists in this room started out from this power of the soundless sound, which is what? We just spoke about it. Huh? The nada, right? Which is part of the what? It's part of your thoughts, right? And your mind. Everything is created in the mind, and manifest on the physical plane. Or it might stay in the mental plane if you never manifested on the physical plane. This chair was a design in someone's head before it was manufactured, before it was put to paper or to the computer or to papers to be manufactured by a manufacturer company. Everything, okay? So such is the power of the mantra. Let's see what we're going to erase. So let's come back to the physical body. The soul, it is said that the soul, when the soul was manifesting its lower aspects, right? It created a body for itself. And that body of itself, for itself, is referred to as the auric body. Some people call it the auric unit, but it's the auric body. This auric body is indestructible, as far as we know. It lasts for lifetimes. It carries the consciousness that the soul formed, because the soul is above consciousness. The soul is totally above consciousness. So what did the soul do? When the soul creates this auric substance, it pulls from the universe, right? You have the universe with all of this Shakti power at our disposal. So it pulls from the universe and it pushes it down through the auric substance, right? Now, this Shakti power, like I said, is layered with all different type of formations of energy, whether it's the Mahabhutas, the pranas, the mind energy, or the formation of the Mahabindus, or the realms of existence called the chakras. And this way most people get this wrong. Because the chakras are just not in your body, but the chakras is actually multiple realms of existence throughout the whole universe, right? It's how we manifest or experience the outside world is through these chakras. All of us are linked through our chakras, right? So when you study the ancient chakras, they will tell you that, because what they would do. I think the Sanskrit name was L-O what? That's it?
Yeah.
Huh? So that describes a realm of existence. And if you look at just the major chakras, right? Because the major chakras are the most important ones for our existence at this time. If you look at the major chakras, you'll notice that each one of them have a color. And that color resembles the visible spectrum, right? And that color, that color corresponds with the base chakra, the sex chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye or the Christ chakra, and the crown chakra. It corresponds with those things. So, as we know that the sun itself we cannot exist without what? The sun. Because everything on Earth, everything in the solar system is nothing but solidified sunlight. So what did the soul do? The soul took this Shakti power, concentrated it through this auric substance or auric body, and found what is called Shushuna within this. Because also, what is Shushuna? Shushuna is a nati. What is a nati? A nati is a flow of what? Of energy. So what did it do? It found this Shushuna inside the auric substance that it had created. And the auric substance was actually created out of Shakti power as well, right? And it found this Shushuna, and within the Shushuna, there was a sacred Brahma Nati in the center of the Shushuna. Now, this Brahma Nati, within this Brahma Nati, the energy, a positive energy and a negative energy, flows in total balance as one. So it found this Brahmanati within the Shushuna, and it pushed this Shakti, it molded and shaped this Shakti into the levels of consciousness. In other words, it connected it to all these levels of consciousness. So what did it do? It created what is called the what? It created the what? The BJs. Or some people call them the petals. Now, what are these petals or BJs? They are seed mantras. What's another name for them? What's another way? What did I tell you it also was? No one? The original what? The original samskaras. Now, these seed mantras or BJs, right? They help form a vortex, right? To pull and extract energy from this auric substance to align itself with what? With the great what? No one knows? The great Mahabindus. Right? So they align themselves with the Mahabindu that they are living on, which is Earth, and the sun, which feeds the Earth and the solar system, and the moon, which feeds the Earth as well, and with all the other planets, but maybe in more minor aspect because of us, because of our karmic position. But it's still connected to all the other planets. So it is once again, it is the Nata, because this seed mantra is a Nata power, right? Is the Nata that forms consciousness, right? And after this is done, then a vehicle of consciousness called Kundalini can be formed. Yeah.
When we say the soul found Shushumna, meaning it was already there before the aura was.
Yeah, of course it was. It didn't create Shushumna. There's a Shushumna throughout the solar system. There's a Shushumna within the galaxy. There's a Shushumna within the universe.
So it's the bridge between the realms and time.
No, it's that sacred place where the great power of God flows undisturbed. In other words, the presence of the absolute. That's how they described it, or the presence of Brahma. You understand?
So, but that's the only pathway between the major centers, that Shushumna link.
What you mean, the pathway?
Like the way I've always seen it described like that, you have the major chakras along Shushumna. And that's
No, well, that's the main flow of the power. I'm sure you have, wherever there's a Bindu, there's Shushumna. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, and which is a Bindu is what? And understand the Bindu, we talk about the Bindu in different levels of the chakras. The Bindu is the background power for the whole body. It's not necessarily separated, but there's different access points to it. You understand? Because the Bindu can be all of this right here, but there's only little tiny openings for that power at that particular level of function. Okay?
opening is a certain aspect of
It's just a certain access to that Bindu, but the Bindu is there everywhere. Okay? So now that is the uniqueness or the power source behind mantra. So now, going back to the petals or the BJs. The petals or the BJs form what? The 50 letters of what? Of Sanskrit. Okay? And each one of them are power type signatures or bits of power of tremendous power that was actually placed into manifestation to operate on the different chakra levels. Now, when you chant a mantra, you tap into those petals. You help calibrate the petals. And when you calibrate the petals activate or produce a particular energy that activates the aura and have the aura to spin in a particular way, right? And when the aura spins in a particular way, it unleashes this subtle power that you can use to develop yourself spiritually, okay? You can also use it to develop yourself negatively too, but you don't want to do that with this type of energy because karma is 3, 4, 5 times greater when you use this type of energy in a negative way. So if you can imagine this auric substance begin to spin, and we know from studying any type of science that, I mean, that's how you pull on energy, by motion, okay? And what happens is that you can tap into, because the chakras itself is where your consciousness resides. Your consciousness resides in the chakras. Your basic consciousness is in the base of the spine, right? And the next level of consciousness is in the sex center. That's where your consciousness actually resides. This is mostly the subconscious, and conscious mind of man. And scientists kind of even prove this to a point, because every time you get ready to do something, what happens? You have this double relay that goes down the spine and back up and back down and back out, and then you move something or speak. And they can track that, the aspect of the subtle energy that they can track. They can actually track it on film now, because they can, they have these different machines that can tap into and see aspects of the aura. And they can see the subtle energies, this neuron energy flowing through your body. So you always have this right here is a mental circuit to allow things to happen in the brain, in the body, or whatever. So you can, scientists prove that it is connected. Somewhere that the spine, that there's some activity going on in the spine. But for thousands of years, the yogis and mystics told them that, So your consciousness actually resides in these chakras. So when you chant mantra in order to activate the chakras, get the chakras spinning, and take you into different levels of consciousness. And that's one of the reasons why, that's why the power of mantra is guaranteed, because these actions, if you do it properly, these actions will happen, the aura will spin, you will be able to harness these energies with the various techniques they give you, and either send the energy out or take this energy in and move to a higher level of consciousness. Just as simple as that. Okay? Is there any questions? There's no questions? So everybody understand that real good, huh?
Is there a way, like, studying the makeup of a mantra, and you can determine its effect on the aura?
You can try to do it intellectually, but you'll actually have to see it. Psychically see the energy. You can speculate. Is there any part that you all want me to go back over, or what? Like what? What part of that? What don't you understand? The what?
How you don't release the mantra? How you don't obtain the mantra?
Yeah, one of the reasons why you don't is just because I just told you it's a sacred power, and the power is guaranteed. So one of the things, when you give it a mantra from a master or adept who is where the mantra have lived within there, or they have formed that mantra out of their own somatic type meditation, from lifetimes of study and meditation, that they, the secrets of making this thing develop for you is to not to give it to anyone else once you initiate it into a mantra. You don't give it to anyone until the mantra lives within you. And that's how you can have this mantra work for you. Because when that person gives you the mantra, they actually give you, when a master or adept give you a mantra, they actually give you a part of their Kundalini. They give you the essence of that mantra, in other words. Now you have this sacred power, and you're a step above the next person. Because the rule is that if you receive a mantra without an initiation from that master or adept, then you have to chant that mantra millions of times before that mantra can equal an adept or a master giving you that mantra. So that's that's one of the reasons, and you don't abuse this mantra. That's one of the laws behind the mantra and making the mantra work for you, because if you receive it in a negative way, then you're going to build negative energy within the aura, and you have to cleanse that aura out of that negative energy before the mantra begins to work for you. And everything is about energy. Every thought and action that you make turns into a what? A samskara. A samskara is it scars the aura or deposit negative or positive energy in the aura to be worked out later. And it has a karmic implication to it. So it does become a seed that sprouts again under the right conditions. So you do something negative, and when the right conditions for that negative energy to flow right in your body, the samskara comes alive and gives you a burst of energy to continue that negative thing, or to work it out, or to destroy it, in other words. If you do something positive, you have positive samskaras. The samskaras come forth again to help you do something that gives you extra energy to do something positive, and maybe more positive than what you did before. So you create these negative and positive samskaras. You can see samskaras in action when you through music. Because let's say you have you had a incident happen to you 10 years ago, and there was a popular song at that time or a popular music. When you hear that music, what happens? It brings up those old samskaras, and you begin to get flooded with that emotion that you experienced 10 years ago, and that lets you know those samskaras are alive. You can deal with that emotion at that time and move past it, or you can let it build up again to turn into another samskara to come back and haunt you in the future, whether it's positive or negative. So it's best to work in a positive way. So let's say you do a negative action with mantra, you receive the mantra in the wrong way. It creates a negative samskara. And one of the keys to actually correcting that is to chant that mantra millions of times in order to equal the level of a master giving you that mantra. So the keys to opening that mantra up, unlocking that mantra and tapping into your higher consciousness will be delayed if you receive the mantra in the wrong way. And that's just the law. That's the law of the universe. It's been around for thousands of years. Any other questions? Any other part y'all want me to go over on that? In the book? Did anybody bring the book today? That's a whole nother class. You mean transmigration or transmutation? Yeah. that's a whole nother class there. Any questions online? So we use mantra to develop our concentration. We use mantra to burn up negative karma, because mantra also burns up negative karma. And we use mantra to tap into our higher consciousness. And we can use mantra as a prayer energy, and we can use mantra as a healing energy as well. So you can use mantra in all those different ways. You can also use mantra to cleanse a house. If the houses have negative energy, you can use mantra to cleanse a house. You can use mantra to bless someone or animal or plant life or whatever. You can also use mantra for that as well. And the Aether Society have mantras that you could purchase that was given to them. They recorded the mantra. It was by Dr. George King, who's a yogi master, who actually recorded 11 mantras that can be given out to the public as an initiation. And you can take those mantras, and use those mantras to develop yourself and to do all those things I just said, you know. Any other questions?
Briefly go over and explain why mantras are only in Sanskrit.
Sanskrit is the first language of this world, and it'll probably be the last language of this world as well. And it's a sacred language, a sound vibration, really, by the use on the higher rims of this world and any other world, and that's why it's only given in Sanskrit. You know, it has, just like I told you, it was when the soul brought, connected that auric body to the various levels of consciousness, it used this language. It used this language. And the Sanskrit language was copied from that. You know, so they are creative words or sound vibrations of God, really, that was given to man and to all life forms. So that's why, you know, that's why it's the only language. There's no other language that mantra can go into except that. It's the original language.
Loretta asks, are there warning signs to advise that a mantra is being used incorrectly?
If you don't use mantra to make someone fall in love with you. Don't use mantra for negative reasons or selfish reasons. All right, you'll find yourself in a world of trouble. You'll create all type of negativity in your life, you know, by using mantra wrong. You know, yeah.
What's the difference between an affirmation and a mantra?
The worlds of difference. A mantra, like I said, mantra is written in Sanskrit. And that mantra comes from the original language, the original creative language that the soul used to form the body or consciousness. All right? Affirmation can be day by day in every way. I'm getting better and better and better. That's an affirmation. Affirmation is just positive words of that influence the mind. But a mantra actually calibrates the chakras and the aura. It actually moves. It has a greater force to move subtle energy and mind energy at once. An affirmation, you have to chant it for days on end, and But if you can intone a mantra just right, you can bring forth power right away. But with the affirmation, it doesn't move negative stuff out right away. It takes hours and hours and days on end and years to work sometimes. Yeah.
What if you sit down to do mantra and you had a tough day and stuff's going on and negative thoughts come to your mind? Can you chant through that anyways, or you
If you have enough concentration, if you have enough willpower, you can. If you have enough willpower. But you, with mantra, you want to shake that off and just do it, because with mantra, what you want to do, you want to think the mantra and chant the mantra, and you want to do it, and that's why they give you different techniques of mantra. The dynamic form of mantra is chanting that mantra rapidly, so that you have no thoughts. You have no thoughts that go between that. All right, you just chanting the mantra. That's why you do it in a rapid fashion like that. Did I answer your question? Yeah. So that's the big difference between affirmation. A lot of people try to say affirmations and decrees are just as powerful as a mantra. It's not. It is not at all.
It means in japa or in practice of mantra,
Mm-hmm.
how do you know if you're intoning it correctly, or are there warning signs that tell you?
Well, like I said, get the mantra from a yogi adept or master, and they will try to intone it the way they teach you. And the best way is through the mantras that Dr. Sri Yogi Regent George King gave in his initiation of mantra. It's 11 mantras. He gives the mantra. He allow his disciples to speak the mantra in different dialects, so that you can hear how to intone the mantra. So go back to that. That's what I would say. All right.
Another question. Says, my mantra came to me after sun gazing for a while. Is there a possible connection there?
I don't know. Some people, I've heard of people gaining mantras like that, but I will always go back to the Sanskrit mantra, to the mantras of old, and use them. All right. I know some people that a master or adept even materialized before them and gave them mantras. So, but once you chant a mantra for a long time, what happens is that you do gain other mantras to use in conjunction with that mantra, and you gain mudras. You gain mudras from mantras too, to use as well. But I would use what's been given down to us, so that we can get to a certain level where we can tap into that power. And we can discriminate too. You have to learn to discriminate, because you can be misled by visions, by disconnected entities, or you can go down a pathway the wrong way. So these mystic teachings have been given to us as a guide, as a road to our own spiritual development, so that we don't make the mistakes that past generations have made. Any other questions?
Not asking.
like for a certain period of time. And while they're doing mantra, or they're realizing that they're feeling like as if they're spinning or there's a vibration going on, because physically something's going on within the aura's body.
Yeah, the molecules of the aura is moving so fast they begin to rub against each other,
Yeah.
almost. And you can feel that. Sometime on your skin, your skin will begin to itch, you know. You'll feel a tightness, sometimes either around the head or the chest or even the neck. And sometimes it gets outrageous where you feel like something's crawling all over you. You know, but, you know, you need to try to just continue to to chant the mantra to build your concentration. If it get too bad, stop, shake it off a little bit, and then start again. But it's going to continue to happen until you can withstand that feeling. But after that, you have all different type of things happen to you. You know, but each time you got to keep focusing on the mantra so that you can move to the next level.
How do you use mantra to empower the visualization?
It depends on what type of visualization you're trying to empower. Is it good or bad? Okay. Huh? Why? Why would you do that? I'm saying, for what reason? What type of medulla? Do you like a chakra? Or? I believe you need to have previous knowledge of that in order to like prime the well and then do it. But like I said, mantra connects you with your higher self. Once you develop the power of concentration, and you can chant mantra for a long time, and then you move into the level of contemplation, you can only chant, you can chant that mantra for 4 or 5 times, and then you can tap into that higher state of consciousness. Concentration takes you to that higher state of consciousness, which is the next level will be contemplation. And when you want to contemplate on something, if you have used mantra as the key to turn that contemplation on, then you chant the mantra for several times until you get that visual or sensory perception to open up, and then you look at that. And then, that's the way you do it, in other words. When you can contemplate, you only need to chant the mantra a few times. It raises the level of your consciousness, and then you have this psychic vision or psychic hearing or psychic senses or whatever, where the physical merge with the astral or the etheric senses, and you can see on multiple levels of existence, and then you can study that. That's how it usually works. All right. There's no other questions? Well, that was quick. Huh? Yeah, go ahead.
For those of you online, we have a couple projects under development. They're still under development, but if you'd like to stay informed with everything that we're developing for the future, which includes DVDs, pamphlets, handouts, brochures, a bunch of different things, workshops, seminars, just go to this link and you could just register there. You'll be added to our announcement list, where whenever we send mass emails, you'll be able to receive it and stay informed about what we're doing. It's also a good way of, if you want to get involved or whatever, when we send you an email, you could just respond about your interest in getting involved or whatever. So yeah, that's the link. Just ask you for a couple basic information, and that's it. Thank you.